Fulgrim is returning. And with it, we have so much to talk about. Yes, we're going to talk about rumors and speculation on the model range for the Emperor's Children, etc. But the main focus I really want to talk about is the actual narrative of this. Because with Fulgrim's return, we are opening up a huge bucket of madness or potential story arcs that can branch off from the Snake Boy's return to the galaxy. Well, I say return from the galaxy. He's already back in real space doing Fulgrim things. So let's jump in and, of course, let's get waffling. Now, as I just mentioned, Fulgrim is literally back in real space. This was mentioned in the first Arcs of Omen book, Abaddon. When Abaddon is having his little chaos seance, he sees Fulgrim doing a bunch of weird stuff on a planet, and he makes a note that he will go there and he will teach Fulgrim a lesson. So we already know he's back. There's been other elusive stories that Fulgrim's been doing shenanigans in real space as well. During the Gathering Storm, a huge snake-like serpent figure was literally devastating the planet that got retracted by a bunch of Inquisition stuff. So he's been there for a while now. The foundations have slowly been building up. We've missed it because of all the hype around Angron and what he's brought to the tabletop. But Fulgrim is definitely returning to Warhammer 40,000, and he is going to be a major part in the narrative story. I think it's going to be the back end of 10th edition personally. That's where I see it, because once you have Fulgrim joining that narrative story, then you open arcs for the Eldar to get more involved. You open arcs for Guilliman to seek vengeance on Fulgrim, which we'll get into later on in the video, but also the Webway, Vastor, and Abaddon story could all intermingle in this as well. Now, let's start with narrative scenario number one. Well, it's kind of 1 plus 2 because it's the Webway / Eldar. I think this is going to be a major thing going forward. We've just had Vastor and Abaddon go into the Webway with the Caliban replica planet. They're flying around there. They're searching for weapons and shenanigans in there. But what also is, well, potentially could happen is with Fulgrim, he could start really affecting the Eldar now. The biggest threat to the Eldar is Slaanesh. They birthed that god through their weirdness and their weird ways, what they did way back. So they see that as the greatest enemy. And of course, Fulgrim is an avatar of Slaanesh. He's the demonic Primarch of Slaanesh. You know, every time an Eldar dies, Slaanesh feeds on its soul, potentially. So if Fulgrim can go into full harvest mode, this would empower Slaanesh, maybe give Fulgrim even more powers, because Slaanesh is like, yes, my good snaky boy, keep doing what you're doing. So we could see the Eldar really start ramping up and getting involved. There's a lot of big Eldar stuff that kind of just faded out, really, since the Gathering Storm. Was it Yivran or something? I'm sorry, I'm not an Eldar player, but I know a lot of Eldar players who said our storyline's just non-existent in Warhammer 40,000, so maybe this could be the potential of bringing that storyline back and have them a major player actually fighting Fulgrim and bringing on maybe his so-called downfall. That's if they're successful, or just launching a conflict against him to try and tie him up in the wider galaxy of eternal war. Now, before we move on to the Imperial storyline potential with Fulgrim, I just want to stay on the topic of the Webway, because Fulgrim potentially could go into the Webway because that's what the Eldar use. That could be like his harvesting site, or he can do warp shenanigans in there. But what normally happens when Games Workshop brings back a Primarch, and Fulgrim is definitely coming back. Again, we'll do rumors and stuff towards the end of the video. If you want to go down there, I'll like time stamp it and stuff like that. But what I personally think, if he does go into the Webway, this potentially could have a ripple effect and bring back a Primarch who was lost in the Webway. Jagatai Khan himself. Yes, the Blade of Chigoris, Mr. Lightning himself. No one's seen him. No one's heard about him. He went into the Webway chasing off Dark Eldar, and boom, he was gone. But we all know, like, the Webway works in a mysterious way. It's kind of like warp travel, where time is not linear. It's just different. So he could have gone into the Webway for 5 minutes, come out and it's been 10,000 years. Or you could meet Fulgrim in there, like after 10 minutes chasing the Dark Eldar, and literally 10,000 years has passed. So you do have that potential of a Primarch coming back, because GW always do it. They bring a traitor Primarch back, and then they bring a Loyalist Primarch back. Look, just look at the release schedule. They've done it all. They keep doing it, and they'll always do it. So, yeah, let the hype begin, I guess. Now, of course, being an Imperial fanboy, this is where I really want the story to get really juicy and effective. So for people who don't know, Fulgrim was the person who put Roboute in his stasis. He sliced his throat, literally nearly killed him. People argue that Guilliman did die, and he got resurrected off the Eldar and stuff. Let's just leave that for what it is, another debate for another time. But what I see from this storyline is Guilliman seeking revenge on Fulgrim, fighting him again. He now has the Emperor's sword. He's now empowered by faith. He is a more powerful being than when he originally fought Fulgrim. So we could have a rematch on the cards. One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't understand about Fulgrim and what he did to the Imperium is that literally he made the Imperium what it is today. Because when everything was going bad back in the day and Guilliman was the statesman, he was still leading the Imperium good. He was like, no, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that. So the Imperium was kind of thriving still back in the day. But then when he went and met Fulgrim and he challenged Fulgrim and he got his throat slit and he got put in stasis, that is when the downfall of the Imperium started to happen, because they had no guidance. They had no leader at the top to tell them how to act and what to do. Just like we're seeing now in Warhammer 40,000 with Guilliman's return, he's taking control again. He's got the reins. He's telling people like how to act. He's got rid of most of like the High Lords who are in it for themselves. Fulgrim got rid of all that. So you can literally blame Fulgrim for the downfall of the Imperium over the past, like 9,000, 10,000 years and the decay it became before Guilliman absolutely returned. And that's just the Guilliman angle. Don't forget, Lionel Johnson returns. He's here with the Risen, the Fallen, the Dark Angels, whatever you want to call them these days. Maybe he could get in on this, you know. Lion is a beast hunter, beast master. I don't know what we really want to call him. He likes to hunt monsters, okay? That was his thing back on Caliban. And let's face it, Fulgrim is probably the most monstrous thing he's probably ever going to encounter. He's a huge snake with 4 arms with swords, and he looks like an absolute reprobate. So maybe the Lion is like, right, it's my turn to step up now. I've already beat Angron, bashed his face in with his shield. Guilliman, you keep reading your books. You keep doing what you're doing. I will take revenge, brother. I will destroy our heretical brother once and for all. Maybe, just maybe, they both fail at doing what they do, and then we have this whole Slaaneshi crusade launched, you know, potential of new characters and stuff, again, which we'll get onto the rumor part of the video, and, you know, the range refresh, and we actually see, like, Slaanesh cut, like, a big area of space out, and we actually see Chaos start winning. I absolutely do think that we need to see more Chaos victories. I know that sounds absolutely heretical at this point, but the Imperium is split into two. Yes, you have the northern parts and you have the southern parts, but the northern parts is really where it's like the Wild West part of the narrative. And I think we should start seeing more empires of chaos set up over there. Maybe a Cornite, you know, big chunk of space where it's just blood, Slaaneshi and stuff like that, because the Imperium can't really reinforce itself and get its forces there to combat it as good as it can in the southern bits. So hopefully, or maybe, you know, we'll actually start seeing something in the favor of Chaos and the Chaos Gods and the avatars, sorry, should I say the Primarch avatars of Chaos really cutting their own empires out and doing what they do best, is just bringing absolute devastation to the galaxy. Now let's move on to the actual aspect of Fulgrim returning in model format, his range refresh, the Emperor's Children range refresh, and what that really means. So I have definitely heard that Fulgrim is on the cards to return. Again, that is a rumor. Take rumors as rumors. You can see them all as lies. I take them all as lies until GW confirm it themselves. Take it with heapious amounts of salt, but if you look at it through just your business goggles, just put them on, like, you know, your goggles on your face. Games Workshop have done Death Guard, they've done Thousand Sons, and they have done World Eaters. Those are the 3 Chaos Gods they've done so far: Nurgle, Zinch, and Khorne. So it'd make sense for them to do the last one, Slaanesh, right, and bring that range refresh into it. Every edition, we've had a new Chaos God come in. Technically, you could say 7th edition, back end of 7th, was Zinch with the Thousand Sons and Magnus, and let's say 8th edition if you want, because 8th edition was also Death Guard as well with Mortarion. That was like the big one really, because it launched with the Dark Imperium box set, which was made which was Death Guard. And then 9th edition, of course, we had the brand new World Eater range refresh with Khorne. So definitely, I personally see 10th edition being the Slaanesh update, a brand new range refresh. Yes, Fulgrim is going to be that centerpiece model. Models around that, right off the top of my head, new Noise Marines. Definitely, 110% new Noise Marines are coming. Don't worry, Slaanesh, you can sound off with your music guns all night long. When it comes to characters, I can definitely see a new Lucius the Eternal, even though he's the biggest loser in the galaxy. But why not? He's iconic to the Emperor's children. I think Eidolon would make a fantastic 40k model, like to see Eidolon as what he is now these days. I personally thought Eidolon had died, but no. Well, I know he got his head chopped off and he got it sewn back on like he was Gazskul, but that was during like the Horus Heresy and stuff and like that. But since then, I actually thought he died like during the thousands of years leading up to 40k. But no, I was corrected by you chaps, thank you. And he's still around in the 40k storyline, the narrative. So yeah, bring on Eidolon. In terms of other characters, I'm not too sure. Maybe they can make some new characters. In terms of other units, I'm sure they'll make other units. Look at, for example, the 8-bound. The 8-bound wasn't really a thing, and they came out of nowhere, and we got the 8-bound. Is there any more iconic? The only iconic units I can think of, really, are like, was it like the Phoenix Guard and stuff? Maybe like a corrupted version of them. Noise Marines, like I said. I'm really going to leave it to you, Emperor's Children players, in the comment section. What do you want? What would you like to see? What out there would make perfect sense to have in the Emperor's Children range refresh? And upon that great note, I'm going to call the video there. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, as always. Fulgrim is returning. I'm going to start how I ended. Just watch this space. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm sure, like I said during the video, it's probably going to be towards the back end of 10th edition. There's so much stuff coming now for 10th edition. This is probably going to be the most wildest ride of model releases and everything like that. It's going to be wild, brothers. So stay tuned, and of course, we'll keep talking about it as it all happens day by day. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye. Fulgrim is coming. Wait, hang on, that sounded weird.